Hello learners, this is Excel with Habeeba. Under Sociological Foundations of Education, we are discussing today social change. Social change in a society is the indicator of changes in the various aspects of that society. These aspects are the customs and values, cultures and ideals, thoughts and acts of the people living in that society. There may be several reasons behind social change like various innovations, example technological, political or religious movements, economic interdependence, etc. It is logical that the type of education given in each society should change from time to time as the society changes. So, education is an instrument of social change in the society. Educational changes tend to follow other social changes. So, Ottaway in the year 1980 observed that ideas of change originate in the minds of human beings, often in the mind of a single individual. Exceptional individuals invent new techniques and profound new values for their society. Renaissance is the best example of it. In the Middle Age, all witnessed that Renaissance means rebirth. That is, so many technological innovations or inventions were taken place. Now, what exactly social change is? Social change is defined by sociologists as alterations in the basic structure of society or a social group. Now, what are the approaches to this social change? Structural functionalism. That means social change should serve the best interests of society with the goal of maintaining equilibrium and balance within the social system. Another approach is conflict theory. That is, social change happens suddenly when conflict boils over, upending the status flow. So, what are the examples for this? The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was a period of significant social and economic change marked by the widespread development of new technologies, transportation and communication systems, and the growth of factories and mass production. Urbanization, labor rights and women's rights took center stage. Now, these two words together, social plus change. That means social means pertaining to society, change means variation or modifications. So, some scholars depict the process of social change in the following manner. Let's see what is that. Change in the experience of individuals, that will lead to change in the attitude of individuals, and then that will lead to change in the social interactions, then change in social relations, then that will lead to change in social structure, and at last that becomes social change. Now, if we see the meaning of social change, variation or modifications in any aspect of social process, pattern or form, that is social change. Now, according to McClever and Page, let's see the definition here. What is social change? Social change refers to a process responsive to many types of changes, that is changes in the man-made conditions of living, changes in the attitude of man, and changes that go beyond human control to the biological and physical nature. So, this is the definition given by McClever and Page. Now, let's see what are the characteristics of social change. Let's understand them. Number one, inevitable. That is, social change is inevitable. It cannot be avoided. Then, nextly, it is a necessity. We all need changes in our lives. Change is the law of the nature, and also no change is permanent. Obviously, personal life, if we stand by on one place, we will never be satisfied. We want to go on heights time to time. So, change is not permanent, it takes place all the time. Every change leads to another change, and thus it is unavoidable. We cannot avoid that change. Then social change can occur due to some natural calamities like floods, earthquakes, etc., or it can occur due to known efforts or deeds of human beings, like human beings do actions to be more civilized, which leads towards social change. Thus, social change is planned as well as unplanned. We can plan for our changes also. Sometimes these natural calamities unplanned. So changes occur maybe geographically, psychologically, physically, etc. Now it is both external or exogenous and internal or endogenous. That is, it is external when it arises from external factors. For example, the British impact on Indian society. There are also called social determinants. That is, determinants such as climate, availability of resources, and biological forces are non-social determinants. Then internal refers to the mutual interrelations of values, social structure, and classes as they are institutionalized in a given society. Now, social changes can happen anytime. There won't be any particular time. Anytime it can happen. Effect of various factors can be varied, and these cannot be predicted in advance. Therefore, it is unpredictable. Then any revolution or any experiment, both can bring changes in society. Therefore, social change can be peaceful or sometimes violent also. Now, various factors play a role in bringing social change. Only one factor cannot be the cause of social change. Then social changes are universal. These are not time and place bounded. Everywhere, any place, any time it can happen. Then impact of revolution can be positive on one section of the society and negative on the other section of the society. Therefore, it is said that social change is uneven. So, these are the characteristics of social change. Now, what is the role of education in social change? Let's understand. Education acts like an agent of empowering the thoughts and life of an individual. When collective thoughts are changed by education, then societal changes occurs. Development of science and technology is an example of how education brings social change. Individuals have become more aware of education these days, and education in turn has developed scientific temper in the individuals of society. More aware of education now. Then education in turn has developed scientific temper here. Now education helps to change the population into an asset and strengthen along with trying to control its growth. Though education does not ensure high status and high positions to all people, yet without education, an individual is unlikely to achieve social mobility. Moreover, education plays a role in equalizing opportunities in three ways. What are the three ways? Let's see. Number one, by making it possible for all those who have the desire to be educated and the ability to benefit by that facility. There should be some desire. Then by developing a content of education which will promote the development of a scientific and objective outlook. Then thirdly, by creating social environment of mutual tolerance based on religion, language, caste, class, etc. So this is the role of education in social change. Social change accelerates the economic development, which in turn helps for social change. Now, progressive economy creates a competitive society. Education can transform society by providing opportunities and experiences through which the individual can adjust him in the various conditions. You can also find a variety of changes in the society. For example, smartphone have changed the way of communication in the society. Smart boards have changed the teaching learning process, etc. Now coming to the nature of social change here, the process of social change is continuous and it is a slow process also. There is need of social change in society. Society cannot stop a social change. Change is the essential part of society. Social change can be associated with either the whole structure of a society or part of the structure. The speed of social change varies society to society or in different period of time in society. Change in one society encourages other society. Change is a deviation from traditions as some retained while the undesirable ones are dropped. Social change involves not only economic, political, scientific changes, but it also involves changes in mode of socialization of individual and a basic change in personality structure of the individual. Now it can be brought about by intelligence and with certain determination. Every individual has certain goal and he or she want to achieve them. In attempt to achieve goal, he or she bring about certain social changes. This indicates that there is definite purpose behind the process of social change. Then when individuals are concerned with the modification in status and role, the stress and strain are produced in them and thereby social change takes place. Now social change can be brought by any factor like technology, industrialization, religion and ideology. Change begins with the process of innovation. Innovations involves various invention in social customs, conventions, traditions, character and conduct of the individual. But we cannot say that any one is prominent than the other. It is difficult to tell about the possible changes in future. Change is the law of nature, as we all know. Social change is inevitable, and social change means discarding some old thing or elements or addition of new things in a simple meaning. Social change may be for the good of society obviously, or otherwise also sometimes. It is possible to know that there will be some changes in our tradition, though it is difficult to pinpoint social change. And so this is the nature of social change. Change is the law of nature. Change is inevitable. Social change means discarding some old thing or elements or addition of new things. Now social change may be for the good of society or otherwise. Now what are the factors affecting social change here? Social change is a product of many factors. These factors may be grouped under these headings of geographical, psychological, biological, technological and cultural factors. Let's see one by one quickly. First one, geographic factors. Geographic factors comprise all the inorganic, that means non-living phenomena which exert an influence on human life. Theoretically, it will include even the physical state of other planets in our solar system, because the world in which we live is linked with other worlds in a system of cosmic equilibrium. Now practically, however, the geographic factors may be limited to the climate of the earth and those factors in the outer crust of the earth's surface which condition man's living on earth. So the climatic influences include temperature, that is daily and seasonal range and variation, then sunshine, and then rainfall, then relative humidity, prevailing winds and possibilities. So every man lives in particular geographic condition which does affect the social life. For example, the social life of man living in the plains is different from that of men living in hilly areas. Then the inhabitants of West Bengal and other regions near the sea depend more on fish for their food. So these can be the examples. Change in geographical environment has a great effect on human society. Now secondly, psychological factor. The psychology of human being may itself become the cause for social change. Obviously, man by nature loves change, desires to invent new things in every sphere, and it always anxious for novel experiences. As a consequence of this, attitudinal change and rituals, customs, traditions, etc. also go on changing in the society in a continuous manner. this does not imply that whatever is new is considered superior to the old. That means old is also important. As time passes, we have to accept the new ones also. On one hand, man wants to preserve the good elements of what is old, but on the other hand, he or she stimulates that attends to what is new. In this process of interaction between the two tendencies, change in social relationships takes place, which leads to social change. Now, thirdly, biological factors. The most important biological factors affecting social change are the plants and animals in the area, then human beings themselves. So, man uses the available plants and animals according to his culture and traditions. He destroys the enemies like insects, poisonous plants, bacterial and dangerous animals with the best available means. So, the biological environment is dynamic, that is ever changing, and we find changes in the climate, change in soil composition, drying up of lakes or streams, etc., which spell the doom of some organism and encourage new opportunities for others. So, these changes affect the status of man and alter the nature of his struggle for existence. Now, the effect of radiation upon the germplasm is an important agent of genetic change. Now, in social change, we understood about biological. Now, let's understand the fourth one, technological factors. Change in society are also brought under the influence of technological changes. According to W.E. Ogburn, technology changes society by changing environments which we in turn adopt. This change is usually in the material environment, and the adjustments we take to the changes in material environment and social institutions. So, social change is brought about mainly by the following technological factors. Let's see what are they. Number one, development of new methods and process of agriculture, we can see. Use of machines in industries and at home, nowadays they have increased. Development of means of transport, how we have come from walking, bullock carts, horses, and then slowly cars, buses, ships, aeroplanes, we have moved to the jet planes also. Now, development of transport. Then fourthly, development of means of communication. How we are communicating, we communicated earlier, how we are communicating now. Each and everything passed so fast here. Technology is nothing but applied science which helps in bringing about social change with the changing needs of the society. Now, the next one is cultural factors. That is, cultural encompasses values, styles, ideals, beliefs, traditions, emotional attachment, etc. These affect the society to a great extent and in a significant manner. According to Max Weber, social change takes place along with the cultural changes. In reality, it cannot be denied that social relations are necessarily influenced by changes in material and non-material culture. So, material culture alters our habits while non-material culture alters our behavior. Both habits and behavior are capable of bringing about social change. So, the influence of cultural factors is well evident in our society. The change in status of women to enjoy the same rights as men in the field of education, politics, social and religious life is due to change in ideas only. So, the changes in the field of fashion, recreation, etc. can also be clearly seen. There is a great change in the value system. Parents in the older time enjoyed greater respect than today, we can say. The gap in the value of two generations has resulted into disintegration of families, and a nuclear family system has come up. In literature, the change in the style can be easily felt. Changes in thoughts and culture have also resulted in many changes in the institutions of family and marriage. Besides all the above factors, the school, which is the main agency of imparting education to children, is the most important factor in bringing about social change. So, these are the factors. Now, institutions also contribute to social change. Change in society is brought about by many institutions. All institutions tend to support the existing social order. No institution itself can work for the change in social order, as it weakens the institution itself. Some of the institutions of contribution to social change are, let's discuss here. Number one, educational institutions. Educational institutions aim at transmitting knowledge and skills, values and norms, and other cultural elements from one generation to another. However, it also tends to develop a creative mind, questioning attitude, scientific temper. This also leads to the validity of the existing parents. Education opens gateways to new knowledge, technology, and ideas from various societies. Thus, it gives opportunities to learners to choose what they think as the right ones. It provides an opportunity to learners to understand the way society have evolved and that old patterns have been replaced by the new ones. Thus, the institution of school works in static as well as the dynamic model. Few things they will not change the system, teaching and learning. Few things they are dynamic model, ever changing. It tries to retain the traditions in the society along with the affecting change in the established patterns by inducing new ideas. Secondly, political institutions. The new ideas and the development in science and technology have given rise to new political institutions. At one time, rulers' decisions were the law of the land. Then the rulers started being guided by the traditions but had powers to overrule. When the democracies were established, the people got the right to elect the ruling class, thus bringing qualitative changes in the rulers and the ruled. The rulers in the present day democracies have to work within a given framework known as constitution. Now, their actions are critically reviewed by the other political parties, mass media, and the people at large. The third one, economical institutions. That is, the economic institutions also get influenced because of political leadership, the global trends and new technologies. Indian economy is still largely an agricultural economy. During the 50s and early 60s, the country faced severe food shortage. Food grains had to be imported from other countries. Then the use of new technologies in irrigation and the fertilizers brought bumper crops. This brought change in the social life of the people in the country. Improved economic conditions, education to the increasing number of people, better health and medical facilities increased the life expectancy. The average family size has gone down, but the chances of survival of the child have increased. Smaller family norms have changed the kinship relations. This in turn has influenced the other institutions. For example, desire for small family has resulted in a big industry of contraceptives and researchers in the areas. So this is all about social change. Evolutionary process of social change. Let's conclude with that. We may talk about the process of development that took place in society over time. The process of change was covered and under an evolutionary scheme of social change. For example, we can see for example, if you have to understand the social change in India in evolutionary terms, you may do so in terms of evolution from the pre-Vedic period to the Vedic and post-Vedic period to pre-Mughal period, then to Mughal and post-Mughal period, then pre-British period to British and post-British period, and now in contemporary times from the post-independence period to the end of the 20th century. Even in the post-independence period, we may refer to the Nehru period to the post-Nehru and pre-Janata period to the post-Janata period and so on. This simply goes to suggest that the process of change is a continuous process which may have some salient features at point of time, but its dynamic feature continue to affect its nature and content over time. Therefore, a dichotic explanation in understanding social change is inherent. So, this is all about social change. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. I'll come up with the next class. Until then, thanks for your attention and time. Happy learning.